Yo, 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 what's good, my people? What's good, my people? It's your boy Jason Gooner. We're back in the again, and we are here to discuss the November Reggae Girlz squad announcement. Yes, we have two friendlies coming up November the 29th and December the 2nd at Catherine Hall Stadium. And we want to just highlight the players that have been selected. Also, we're going to just show you guys the press conference that took place about almost 2 hours ago. It was a virtual press conference, so of course, members of the media were able to ask questions as well. And the coach gave his, preview of the camp and his thoughts on the previous camp we just had as well. So we're gonna play that for you guys, discuss that, and then of course we're gonna get right into the players in the squad, talk about what they have been up to with their respective clubs, and just familiarize ourselves with the players that have been selected, those who we might not know, or even those that we know and we maybe haven't figured out or been keeping track of what they've been up to. Yeah, man. So we're gonna play that for people who didn't get a chance to see it. Sebastian, big up yourself. Joseph Brown, bless up. Thanks so much. Yeah, I got a chance to ask a few questions. So those who haven't seen the press conference yet, you'll get to hear that. There were some others in there as well. Yeah, man, in the press conference. Yeah. Thanks, Joseph. Yeah, so just want to get the ball rolling. Of course, we just finished a Reggae Boys window. We gave the Reggae Boys a lot of time, did a lot of programs, tactical build-ups, post-matches, live streams. We want to replicate that same coverage for the Reggae Girls. So it starts with the squad announcement. And I, for one, I'm pretty excited. We have some players back in the team. Of course, Khadija Bunny Shaw would be a name everybody would be looking to make sure that is on there. The folks in Jamaica will get a chance to see her live and in person. She also has a game coming up today, actually, at 12:45. So I will be kind of looking at that at my phone as well. But yeah, good luck to City today in their Champions League game. And I'm sure Bunny will want to get on the mark today as well. So yeah, I'm gonna let the people start to find the video. I'm gonna share it around a few more places. You guys can help me out as well by sharing the content. But of course, the easiest thing to do is to smash that like button, because that's the way that the visibility for the video will increase. So I really do appreciate if you can smash that like button as soon as you enter. All right, let me just send this out to a few more people. Make sure that people know that we are live currently. There's a lot of Reggae Girlz fans out there that probably would love to see a program like this. So yeah, we are going to first and foremost, I got sent the file. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you guys on the screen. So we can follow along as we watch the video. All right, people, so let's do that. I will pause a few times just to speak about what was said, but let's just start the content.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much.
Let me know if the volume is good.
For the squad announcement press conference for the Jamaica Senior Women's National Team, as we get set to take on South Africa in 2 friendly internationals at the Montego Bay Sports Complex in St. James, Jamaica. This will be the first time we're having friendlies for the Senior Women's National Team since November 2022, when we took on Paraguay in a pair of games, one in Montego Bay and one in Kingston. But of course, the first time we're welcoming our girls back home since the Olympic playing against Canada, which was September of last year. As we know, next year, 2025, is a very busy year for various national teams when it comes to under 17 in both genders, under 20 for the women, the senior men in terms of World Cup qualifying and other assignments. And then also our senior women's national team, the Reggae Girlz, as well, as they commence World Cup qualifying for the 2027 World Cup, which will be staged in Brazil. CONCACAF has the same number of slot allocation as the 2023 tournament, 4 automatic tickets, and 2 teams will head to the Intercontinental playoffs. So to commence proceedings, what we're going to do is have a few opening remarks from head coach of the Jamaica senior women's national team, Coach Hubert Busby, and then we will get right to the squad. So, Coach Busby, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. We look forward to hearing from you in terms of recap of the camp in France and what the last 3.5 weeks have been for you. So, Coach Busby, you can unmute and go right ahead. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Simon. Good morning, everyone. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us here this morning. As Simon alluded to, we're very excited to have the girls back on home soil in front of their adoring fans and supporters. Before we speak a little bit more about the upcoming games, just want to touch base regarding the France match. Obviously, it was a short camp, 6 days, and it wasn't the result we would have wanted. But there was a lot of learnings and positives to take away from the camp, especially in the growth areas about some of the things we're trying to do, in terms of playing out of the back and trying to keep possession a bit more. Not all the things that we tried obviously came off, but post-analysis, I think there were some really good positive points to take away, and areas and players who I thought we did really well on the night. Obviously, still a lot of growth areas and things that we really need to work on, and really need to ensure that we're cutting down on, the individual mistakes at crucial times, improving our decision making at the crucial times, because, the game, football is a game of moments, and there's moments in that post-analysis where, again, at this level, you go down one end, it's a 3 versus 3, and we have an opportunity to finish, and we don't. And within, 10, 15 minutes, you can find the ball in the back of your own net. So, those are the crucial moments that we really need to work on to be better going forward. And again, with that said, we're able to integrate some new players into the squad, into the group. I thought those players who came in who kind of made their debuts and did some things, did really well. But more importantly, was really pleased in terms of how they integrated into the group away from the field as well. Because as we know, that's really important, keeping that positive team culture, and for the players being, not just accepting, but obviously understanding that it is a competitive environment and new players will continue to come in. But we're all working towards the same goal. We're all working towards the same aim. And that obviously is to get our ticket booked to the World Cup in Brazil in 2027. So outside of that, planning, literally started right after that. I flew up to England immediately after that camp. Coach Dion Burton and I went to the South Africa-England game. We're still within the window in Coventry. And we were able to, we were hosted by the English FA. We were able to go and watch England versus South Africa. As we know, it's great to be able to watch games on film and Wisecout, but there's nothing that beats watching a game in person. South Africa was a very, very formidable opponent. They gave England a very good go on the night, and in some cases, probably should have done a lot better in front of their own goal, in front of the opposition goal.
Bless up, Geta.
But it's going to be a good game. They're a well-coached team. Obviously, their coach has been around for a while. I'll speak about that a little bit later on, but we're able to evaluate them in that environment. So it was good to see. While I was there, continued to meet with some clubs, some agents, prospective players, and meeting with clubs to ensure that, in this sort of day and age now, as we know that the hot topic right now is player load and player management. So it's really important that the clubs know from their perspective that when players are coming into our environment, they're well looked after, their well-being, in terms of the load management, in terms of the data that we provide them. So we've got a lot of positive feedback from the clubs. They're really happy the way that we communicate with them and our high performance staff, our medical staff. So we're doing a lot of work away to make sure that we're monitoring those players. In that time, we are evaluating players on a weekly basis. We have 62 players in that pool. Of that, more than half of that, or close to that rather, are players currently playing the NCAA system. As most of you know, the NCAA, the National Collegiate Association in America, they're not obliged to release players during the FIFA window. So that's why some of those players haven't come in. And to be fair to those players, they're right in the midst of a championship season. As well as that, they've got school to really contend with. And so we try not to, unless there's a prior arrangement with the colleges, we try not to really bring them in and allow for them to focus on their schoolwork and play. But we've been monitoring those players, and some of them are doing really, really well. A lot of them are in their championship right now, so we look forward to watching them in the next couple of weeks, and obviously integrating them into the group as well. The other stuff we've been doing, which is really, really important, is the idea of the integration amongst all teams. So a couple of weeks ago, I was out with the U20s with Coach Bradford, evaluating them, working closely with the U17 coach, Letman as well. So there's a lot of dialogue on a weekly basis in terms of the evaluation and integration of players and matriculating of players throughout the system. And that'll prove to be beneficial going forward down the line, as well as having open dialogue with obviously the technical committee and the technical director and the head of the technical committee as well, to make sure everyone's on the same page in terms of what we're trying to do going forward. And then lastly, it's been great to really kind of work and spend some time with Coach McLaren and his staff as well, which has been really positive. And again, how there's some commonality and the need for commonality amongst our programs and all the things that we're looking to do. So yeah, it's been busy, it's been intense, but it's been very productive. And yeah, we're looking forward to these upcoming games next week.
Yeah, thank you very much, Coach. Much appreciated for your opening remarks. A reminder to members of the media in terms of the upcoming matches. November 29, the kickoff will be 8 p.m. Jamaica time, and on December 2nd, the kickoff will be 7:30 p.m. Jamaica time. And before Coach Busby goes into the squad, just a little tidbit in terms of Jamaica and South Africa. Quite a number of similarities. They're both nations' first Women's World Cup was 2019 in France, and both teams' first appearance in the men's equivalent was France 98 as well. And of course, as we know, in 2023 in Australia and New Zealand, both countries made it to the round of 16 of the World Cup for the first time in each nation's history. So, Coach, we can now proceed in relation to the squad for the upcoming friendly.
All right, before he talks about the squad, I just want to touch on a few things that he mentioned in his remarks there. So, first thing, and we actually hear this from the men's coach as well, an emphasis on instilling some principles that maybe Jamaica's national teams haven't been using in the past. Emphasis on playing out of the back and keeping possession more. I think things that we see a lot more in the modern game, even with teams that, you look at teams that have recently been promoted to the Premier League, for example, they are not playing Premier League teams and trying to change their modus operandi. They are trying to still play this football out of the back against even the best teams in the league. I think that both of the Jamaican coaches have that same idea. They are trying to modernize the way we play, not forgetting, our own attributes as a country and as a team, but just knowing that in games, you're going to have to keep the football more. I think that's something that Reggae Boys, Reggae Girls fans can all say. We look back to the World Cup. We had great success getting into the round of 16. But I remember there was a section of the fan base that was not so happy. We're just defending all 90 minutes. When we're going to score some goals. So I think it's a step in the right direction, and fans are going to have to understand that perhaps some of the results might not look as nice, right? Because we didn't really set up shop against France and Brazil, and the outcome was 4 goals twice against Brazil and 3 more against France. And the one in France, Rebecca Spencer probably saved about 5-6 other goals. So, it's going to take time, but I think that is a step in the right direction. There's no point, just trying to get results in every game and not improving on our style of play, on our philosophies, on our way of playing. And I think that's something that we have to just accept. It's going to have its growing pains. Another thing he talked about was, there's still a lot of growth to be done. And that's what I was just talking about. We have to realize that if there's going to be this philosophy shift, right, in the national teams, there's going to be growing pains involved with that. He mentioned improved decision making. I can't agree more. I think sometimes we get into advantageous positions in the games, and too often they don't end in actions that are gonna at least give our team enough time to reset and get our shape back. We have 3v2s, 3v3s, things of that nature. They don't end in a shot. They don't end in a corner. They don't end in a goal kick. So we end up losing possession. Players are pushed upfield, and the transition is difficult. So improved decision making will also help us to not be hit on the counter as much as we sometimes happen to be. He talked about integration of players in the last couple of camps. And he mentioned not only on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. One of the things that he liked was all the girls and women that he brought in that were new to the team and set up seemed to assimilate well into the group. So that's something that you definitely want to look out for. You don't want, any kind of issues off the pitch. A big part of international football is that camaraderie. I always hear teams talk about that. One thing they love about getting with the national team is just getting around the group again. So that always needs to be something that is, a non-negotiable. The team needs to be together. He also mentioned that himself and Dean Burton got a chance to be the guests of the English FA and go to the South Africa versus England game, which I thought was great because South Africa is a team that I think, as we get closer to these games and, I'll be doing tactical build-ups and things of that nature, you guys will see that South Africa and Jamaica share a lot of parallels. And Simon just mentioned it as well. The first time they qualified was the same time, 2019. The next time they went back to the World Cup, they both made it to the round of 16. But I think you'll find that South Africa has had much better continuity in their coaching staff, building their philosophy. A lot of the girls from that original team still around. They were very young in that first go around, and now they're kind of getting into the primes of their career. So we will break that down some more. But I love the fact that the coaches were able to go and see them in person play against a top level team like England. And he's right, in that game, South Africa had chances to potentially win the game, definitely draw the game. And they gave England quite a game in that one. So, I think we're in for a good battle and challenge in these two fixtures. He said he met with clubs and agents to ensure player safety for the players. I think that's also something that's very important. Sometimes maybe that's something that we haven't been doing the best with clubs. We maybe don't get players in certain instances because the communication lines aren't that open. Maybe we don't keep as good a track of the players' load. But now I know we have all those things. We have the trackers. So I know that we can at least provide this information. And I think the better we establish ourselves as a nation that is doing things in line with what all the modern teams around the world are doing in terms of player load management, I think that will be a plus. And then he mentioned something, and I mentioned this yesterday when we were reviewing McLaren's interview, and he mentioned that he would like to get it down to a 33-player pool, 3 players for each position. And I said 5 would be more realistic, 55 players. That way you kind of account for injuries, form, anything. Personal reasons having to drop out of the squad. And it's just funny that he mentioned he has closer to 62 players in his pool, and a lot of them are in the NCAA system. So I think maybe a happy medium between the two, perhaps with the timeline of the Reggae Boys being a little closer than the Reggae Girlz because they have an extra year to qualify for the World Cup. I just think 33 might be cutting it a bit close when you factor in, you don't know what's going to happen with players and injuries and things of that nature. So I thought the 62 as a number just made more sense to me, and it kind of made me feel better about my thoughts yesterday about the 55, to hear a coach say there's about 62. He did mention as well a lot of them are in the NCAA system, so you won't see the likes of Cameron Simmons, Mimi Van Zanten, Soleil Washington. You won't see those players there in the middle of the NCAA tournament with FSU. Chanel Buckley, surprisingly, in the team. I know that she has the junior college championships coming up soon. So I was wondering if it would be a bit close for her to get away, because she is in the middle of finishing up her season now. Her team is doing really well. I think she's definitely in line to be National Junior College Player of the Year as well. Some crazy stats she's putting up in her league over there in college. So yeah, a little bit of foreshadowing. I mentioned a name there that you know is in the squad, but let's get back to the coach and let him announce the 23 players that he selected.
Nationals.
Thanks, Simon. So squad for these upcoming games will consist of Rebecca Spencer, Leah Brooks, Siobhan Wilson, Allison Swaby, Conyers Plummer, Naya Cardoza, Diane Sampson, Chantel Swaby, Atlanta Primus, Destiny Powell, Peyton McNamara, Jade Bailey, Drew Spence, Denisha Batwood, Sade Adamalukum, Paige Bailey Gale, Kadisha Bunny Shaw, Kayla McKenna, Davia Richards, Jody Brown, Shania Hales, Tiffany Cameron, and Chanel Buckley. That will comprise the players that will be involved in the South Africa series coming up. So if there's any questions at this time, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, thank you very much, Coach. Much appreciated there. And for persons that...
All right, before we get into the question segment, just want to pause and just leave the squad on the screen for just a second. First, just initial thoughts on the squad. Any names jump out at you that you're surprised about? Any names that you were wanting to see that you don't see? Just let me know. I think all in all, the squad has a good balance. They have 7 defenders, 7 midfielders, 7 forwards. Went with the 2 goalkeepers. More than likely, you'd want to give Leah Brooks maybe a chance in one of these games, even if it's just for a half, just to get her on the field. We know that Rebecca Spencer is our, nailed down number 1. I mean, there's not really a challenger to her at this current moment, I don't think. So we kind of know what we're going to get out of Rebecca. So maybe it would be a good time to, give somebody else a chance in one of the games, maybe even a half, as I said. But I think the squad has decent balance. I think, some of the names on there, kind of form the core, the likes of the Swaby sisters, Samson definitely becoming a part of that core. Good to see Kanya Plummer back. Recently made a move over to Fenerbahce in Turkey, and she's doing pretty well this season, starting the majority of the games. So yeah, just excited to see her back in the team, see if she's back to like that level that we maybe saw out of her in the 2019 World Cup cycle. I know she had some family, she was away from the team for a while, due to the birth of her child. And I think, it took her a little bit of a while to get back to the Kanya Plummer we know. And I think it started last season in her time in Liga MX Feminine, and has continued into the Turkish league over there, playing for Fenerbahce. As I said, playing really well, starting up the majority of the games. Another player that kind of stood out to me, Naya Cardoza. She is currently still in college at Brown University, having a good season in the Ivy League this year. She was thrown in against Brazil in those games, if you remember. And, it looked like really a step up for her in level. So interested to see what she has been, how much she has been developing since the last time we saw her. I think she'll be a part of a team that's maybe a little bit more settled under the coach. So hopefully that helps her out. Another player that's back into the team that we have seen before, but had some really bad luck with injuries in the past few years, and that's Siobhan Wilson. Very talented player. Used to be an attacker, been converted to a fullback now in this stage of her career. And I think that she's a player that can help us as well. Along the lines of our Taylor Hines, but maybe, as I said, with the injuries curtailing, maybe her career hasn't gone the way she would have liked. But yeah, she's in the team. She's a player that I've always thought, if fit from what I've seen of her, can definitely be of great value to the Reggae Girlz. When you look at the midfielders now, another one that's probably forming a part of the core now, two of them really, Drew Spence and Primus. I think they're always around in these squads, and for good reason. I think they're both very good players. Primus as well. Specifically Primus, I think, gets a bad rap with some of the fans. But I think the work that she puts in is really something that doesn't go unnoticed to me. Saw Adam Alokun back again. Didn't get a chance to play in the France game, but I'm anxious to see her again after some years away from the team, actually getting some minutes. So hopefully she can do that. And good to see Jade Bailey making a squad 2 times in a row. She's another player that has had horrible luck with injuries. And Destiny Powell, the youngster, making it in as well. He'll talk about her a bit in the question and answer. And then the forwards, of course, the big one, Khadija Shah back in the team. We'll love to see that. Also great to see Shania Hales making a second squad again. And we have some youngsters back in there. Davia Richards, who is there. I'm saying Davia like the coach now. And Shaniel Buckley, also, who I just mentioned. So, and Tiffany Cameron as well. A veteran at this point of the Reggae Girlz squad back in the team. Kayla McKenna, Jody Brown as well. So let's just hear the question and answer portion, and we will pause in the meantime. Let's see if people, where the numbers are getting up nicely. So just make sure that you guys are liking the video. All right, people, that is very, very important. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Anytime there is anything to cover of note, I will always be around if the time permits. All right. So very glad that this press conference was today, because I had plenty time, could prepare, ask some questions. So you guys listen up now for the question and answer segment of the press conference. All right, people, like the video. And big up all the people in the comment section as well. Big up to Doc Sports TV. Yes, let them know like the video. Big up DJ Gigs. Big up Sadler. Big up Positive Vibrations. Big up El Meeks. Big up DJ Gigs. Again, Sheridan, big up yourself. And yeah. And I see people asking about players. So listen up for the questions, people.
Are here with us on Zoom. The graphic is on your screen as well, so that you can be able to take a look at it as well. As usual, please raise your hand, and after myself indicating you, then you can be able to unmute and ask Coach Busby your questions. All right, so you may proceed to raise your hand via Zoom, and then once you're identified, then you can unmute so that you can be able to pose a question. So thank you very much for your cooperation. So you may continue, you may go ahead now. Raise your hand and we can commence the question and answer portion of the squad announcement press conference. Okay, let's hear from Bryce from the Jamaica Gleaner. Good morning, Bryce. Go ahead.
Good morning, Simon, and good morning, Coach, as well. Something I've noticed that you've done since your time here is that there's always been a consistent presence of young players in the squad, the likes of Laya Brooks or Destiny Powell, Davia Richards. How important is it that these players are able to get the experience with the senior team, as well as possibly get minutes on the field in regards to keeping the program for a long term?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, and you're spot on. It's really important. The one thing that, like I said, I'm tasked with, my responsibility is to get this team to the 2027 World Cup. But with that said, we want to ensure that, we're going to every single World Cup afterwards. So it's not about having an eye on the 2020-31. It's about integrating young, talented players into the group to see where they are, keep the group fresh, challenge the group, keep it competitive, but also to ensure that, with the success that we've had, and the average age, I believe, is about 26 years of age. So they'll probably be about 28 going forward. We always have to make sure that there is rooms for young, talented players to make their way through. We've seen how important it is on both genders, and it's really important for us to go moving forward, so that these players are given a chance, especially the young ones, not just about being national team players, but understanding what it means to be a pro. And I think in terms of a lot of our young local players are coming through, we're still working hard to do what we can to professionalize our Women's Premier League, professionalize some of the academies and professional development programs that are on the island. But for them to integrate and be around the likes of a Bunny Shaw or a Drew Spence or a Kanya Plummer or a Jody Brown, Denisha Blackwood, it's so vitally important because those are their role models. They understand, they role model the most in terms of what that means to be a pro. And all the other things that are taking place, all the other learnings that they're getting, the nuances, the things that they're picking up, so vitally important to have in the program. So yes, it's deliberate, and obviously we're looking to do some more of that going forward.
All right, thank you, Bryce. Do you have a follow-up for Coach Busby? Okay, go ahead.
Sure, yeah. I remember a few years ago after the team had qualified for the World Cup, Drew Spence had said that if the program wants to keep continuing at this level, that the team needs consistent games against top oppositions. How important is it for you as a coach to get the get the team these games, as well as two, to potentially go forward and win these games, not just compete, but to get positive results going forward for the confidence of the girls as well as the Jamaican public who are watching along and supporting these girls?
Yeah, again, another great question. I said, look, the reality is for a lot of the core of the players, as we know, there's almost a 9-month gap with them not sort of coming together. Obviously, all that stuff is in the past now and we're moving forward. But as far as that comes to the field, it's a reintegration. And so, bringing these players together and playing these matches and getting used to them, these players, the familiarity of playing with the player in front of you, playing behind you. We don't have that what they get in the club day-to-day basis where they're building relationships. We almost have to start again in some aspects. Now, the good part is from a chemistry standpoint, it's there, but you can't get away from the idea that, it'll take some time, especially when we're trying to integrate some new principles. So especially as we're trying to integrate some new principles of how we want to play into the group, it's taken a little bit longer. Look, at the end of the day, any coach would have said, would you want to come back against what would have been the future silver medalists at the Olympics and play France as your first 3 games coming back in? Probably not ideal. But again, as we said, we don't back away from matches. We don't back away from oppositions. And it's given us a good litmus test in terms of where we are and where we need to be. And yeah, I've maintained that coming in. These are the games that get us ready for the World Cup. We'll play a variety of different games coming through. But yeah, playing games and more importantly, having these camps to evaluate and bring teams together to implement what we want to do on the pitch, things that we need to correct in terms of analysts and breaking down the video individually with players or with blocks. So, midfielders are looking at things, defenders are looking at things, forwards are looking at things, goalkeepers are looking at things. Those are vitally important with the times that we have together to ensure that those things happen. And we're putting things in place to make sure that, going into the next year that we continue to play good matches, but we're also having the requisite camps and evaluations and being creative within the windows or outside of the windows to be able to evaluate talent as well. So yeah, good question. And again, something that we have to continue to do is play top quality opposition.
Thank you very much, Bryce. Let's now hear from Jason Hall. Go ahead.
Thank you. Jason Hall, Jason Gooner TV here. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Jason.
Hope you're doing well. I just had a question on a player that caught my eye in the last game against France. It was a very tough game for us. I know we're trying to instill some new principles, and perhaps in the past against a team like France, we wouldn't try some of the things we're trying. One of the players that I thought had the technicality and the ability to be able to match those principles was Taylor Hines. Can you speak to her omission and just the thoughts about your overall thoughts about that player?
Yeah, listen, Taylor's a big part of what we're looking to do. Obviously, she's declared someone that we've been speaking to in a while, and I think like everything else with young players, they wanted to kind of settle into their professional career first, and she's been able to do that. And she's the captain of Liverpool. Her mission is a little bit more of a situation now that we're looking at this particular time to make sure all the necessary documents and paperwork are in place. So just giving her some time to do that while looking at some other players in the meantime. But rest assured, she's a big part of what we're looking to do going forward. And I concur with your assessment. Again, for a player at 25 to be the captain of one of the biggest clubs in the world and one of the biggest teams in the Women's Super League is no easy feat, and it speaks volumes of her and her qualities, not just as players, but as a leader. And that's why we're excited to integrate her into the group going forward.
Yeah, so, obviously I had a chance to ask a question, and immediately when I saw the squad, I'm looking for Khadija Shaw, and I was looking for Taylor Hines as well. I was very, very impressed with Taylor Hines in that first game. I had heard about this player for like about 2 years now. And of course, with the increased visibility of the Women's League, I've had a lot of chances to watch her play. And, we've watched so many games and just been like the left back, we need a left back, we need a left back. And, I think her capabilities, her abilities really fit what we want to do, especially under this coach. And so I had to ask the question, what's going on? So I had a huge sigh of relief when I heard the answer. This submission has way more to do about just making sure that all the documents are secured. It does make me wonder, what kind of arrangement was made for her to play the last game, if it is indeed a document thing why she's not there. So whatever, obviously this, I couldn't ask a follow-up about Hines again, so I asked something else next. But yeah, I was just happy that it was not a case where second thoughts or there was some issue that would have came up in the camp that would have led to her not being called back. So I'm just glad that it had nothing to do with abilities or anything of that nature. She's still in the plans. The coach sees her as somebody that would be vital to the plans. So that is very, very pleasing to me, because I thought that the player was very impressive. Again, it was a tough game for her, and at times, she was getting the runaround over there, but I thought she held her own really, really well, to be honest. I don't blame Schneider for being unavailable. Version of Lambert always being called and not getting any game time when she could have. It must be deflating for her when she was number one at one time. Yeah, I mean, look, my dad is one of them. He's a huge Sydney Schneider fan, just from the 2019 World Cup and that whole cycle. But, I mean, we just got to be honest. Rebecca Spencer, it has shown a level that we haven't seen Sydney reach in terms of just being able to hold on a first team spot in a professional league. And I think that's one of the main issues for Sydney. I mean, she keeps bouncing around the women's league in the US, and she goes into these situations where, she's behind, the US national team keeper, and then there's two other keepers as well that might be ahead of her. I mean, she's had a tough time in her professional career holding on a spot. So it's tough. It's been tough for Sydney, to be honest. He does mention Sydney in this press conference as well. So listen up. Sheridan clapping, respect, bro. Glad to see Big Bunny back. Absolutely. I had once a size Sydney, and she scores goals. Yes, she does. Hines scored a few goals when she went back. She did. She scored a brace the game after, actually. Press conference with mostly sensible questions. Yeah, it's possible. It can happen. But how could Hines play without documents? Yet boy seemingly can't. Yeah, that's the one thing that's a bit, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to find out exactly what that was about. We'll see about Hines. I did overlook Haley's. It depends on the type of game. Boys don't play many friendly. That's true. I am the other Sydney fan. Becky's struggling, like properly struggling. Sydney need a different team. Yeah, I think a part of Becky's struggles, is that her team does keep, like, her team puts her out to dry, brother. I mean, she gets some, for the way we played the last game, she gets a lot of practice at our club, because Tottenham, they do a similar playing out system, and they make mistakes all the time. Sometimes Becky makes the mistakes too. Can't look over that. But yeah, her shot stopping though, man, is ridiculously good. We will see what transpires with Hines, and I did overlook Hales. Yeah, Shania Hales. Yeah, I was glad she was back as well. I thought she had a tough time in the France game as well. Didn't really get to see much of her, but with this opposition coming up, I think we should have more of the ball at least. So we'll get to see some of these players in a little bit more doing what they would want to do on a pitch instead of defending. See, they need to go to Europe. I think that would help, man. Go to even if you don't go to England, go to one of these leagues, Turkey, Portugal. Go to Sweden, Denmark, any of these places. But I think it's paramount that she gets minutes because she has talent. She's a talented keeper, for sure. All right, let's go back to the press conference real quick.
You have a follow-up, Jason?
Yes.
I do.
I noticed as well the inclusion of Destiny Powell, Chanel Buckley, and Davia Richards. I happen to know that Chanel especially had a really good season overseas in college. How pleased are you with some of the development of some of the local players that are included in the squad?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to her a couple of days. She's in the National Junior College Championships this weekend, so we wish her best of luck with that. And ironically, yesterday I got another 2-3 calls from college coaches at Division I schools looking for her to come in as a transfer. So if she continues to do well, I think obviously like all the young players, she's dynamic in the final third. I think her, final product, like all young players and decision making, still needs to improve. But again, when I alluded to bringing in young players to have, role models to look at, I mean, what better way for her to see the likes of Jody Brown, up close again, Hales up close, players who are playing those positions. She's a young talent that has a huge upside, but she has a lot of growth that needs to happen as well. And so, we're trying to give her the opportunity to come into the squad, be herself, be relaxed. One of the things I'm really, really proud of is the fact that, these older players do such a good job. The sisterhood in this team is unbelievable. It's always been the strength. But we just talk staff call. They do a really good job of looking after these players. And so I've no doubt she's going to have a really good camp, just because of the fact that I know that she has a huge upside going forward, and looking forward to see how she integrates into the senior team. Destiny Powell, same thing. She's a U20 player. Saw her a couple of weeks ago at camp. Has done well. Even when she's come in and played some professional matches in the CONCACAF Gold Champions Cup, she's done well. She's in a good training environment, both with Fraser's Whip and Football's Freedom. So I'm monitoring her there as well. I'm looking forward to her, and the same thing with Davia. They're all doing really well. Davia, we took to France. Her attitude was fantastic. At times, she played a little bit out of position to help the group. Just got on with it, smile on her face, asked a lot of questions. Really happy with the way that they're progressing, and look forward to seeing how they do in the next few months and years as well.
Thank you very much, Jason. Much appreciated. Any more questions, please raise your hand, and then after you're identified, you can unmute. So we've heard from Bryce, we've heard from Jason. Anyone else? You can raise your hand now. All right, let's hear from CC Sports Lab. You may go ahead.
Good morning, Coach.
All right, before CC go, I see some comments in the comment section. What about the winger twin that was in the last squad? Surprised that we didn't see her in this one, to be honest. I'm a bit surprised by that. Maybe he saw enough in the training to go ahead and give some other opportunities to some people, but I was a bit surprised by that, especially since we have 2 games this window. I would think some of the girls that didn't get a chance last time, he would put back just to actually get them a chance on the pitch. So I was a little bit surprised by that. Yes, BM, Simmons, Soleil Washington, Mimi Van Zanten, that whole contingent from FSU, they're in the NCAA championship right now. In fact, they have a game tomorrow in the second round. So yeah, they will not be able to come. If they more than likely they're going to advance. They should. They're heavy favorites in tomorrow's game. So it would have been right in the middle of the NCAA tournament. So yeah, that would have been kind of the JFF wouldn't put them in that position, or the coach. You know, they need to finish out their seasons with the team. Spencer was just calmer than a young Sydney. She was just as good as Spencer blocking shots. If you call her as your number 2, give her some time, maybe a half. Spencer is old. Well, TikTok, I would disagree with the Spencer being old. I mean, she's 33 years old. If you look at goalkeepers in the women's game, they keep into their 40s, no problem. If you look at USA's goalkeeper currently, Alyssa Nair, nailed on number 1. She's 36. You know, Becky Spencer just re-signed with Tottenham for 2 more years. So, I mean, yes, there must be a succession plan, but it's not right now. She's going to go well into this cycle. She will be the number 1 as long as she's fit, for me, going into this, unless Sydney Schneider can nail down some first team game time somewhere and really challenge her. But for now, I don't see her challenging her with her situation at club level. C. Swaby is not playing and she's in the squad. Usually plays when called up. So with this in Sydney, by not playing her when she's called, maybe us playing her can help her get a better club. Well, I had one. You'll hear him speak about Sydney soon. Actually, I think CC is going to ask about that now. So in the next question, you'll hear. Yeah, I remember when she was in Czech Republic first. I think she spent a season or maybe 2 over there. Yeah. Sid did amazing as our number 1 as a young person. Deserves better. They treated Sid like City is treating Keating. I mean, I had one. It's football, man. It's a tough one. You know, you can't really use sentiments. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. You know, you'd want everyone to play, but there's only one number 1. So, I mean, what are you going to do? But listen to this question from CC, because he does mention Sydney in his answer.
Thanks for having me here. Question, Coach. With regards to the squad, I realize that there's a balance between the midfield, forwards, and defenders, 7 players each. Can you elaborate on why you chose to go with 2 goalkeepers instead of 3?
Well, in terms of availability, I think the most important thing is there's some young goalkeepers coming through. One's in college. They didn't necessarily get the minutes that they needed to get, that I felt were the prerequisite coming in. I think if we're going to be consistent with our messaging about players who are in form as one of the criteria, players who are playing, for the most part, consistent, or they're in really good environments, I think that was one. Obviously, Sydney Schneider had personal reasons, or she would have been in. There's a couple other young players, goalkeepers that we're looking at, but just, again, through college, can't quite make it. So
there you said it. She had personal reasons, or she would have been in. So I'm thinking he would have wanted to have her in this squad, because I think he would have given her an opportunity in one of the games.
That's the reason why for the goalkeeping side. And then the good thing is within that squad, defenders, midfielders, forwards, there's a lot of versatility. Players can play in multiple positions. Denisha can play in the back. She can play in the front line. Tiffany did the same thing. Diane Sampson does the same thing. Paige Bailey-Gale can do some of those things. So there's versatility in that. It allows for us to be a little bit flexible going into both games, and especially if you want to. And it was done so deliberately. But yeah, we look forward to seeing those players come in. But yeah, there's a little bit, I'd say, method to the madness, but there's some rationale. So it's a good question you ask, and that's sort of the reason why we kind of balance it out that way as well.
Do you have a follow-up, CC? Go ahead.
All right. So just in terms of following up, you heard me? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. So in terms of the matches going forward, like, what's your expectation of the squad in terms of how far they can go and what you're looking forward to towards in 2025 and closing out this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think the most important thing is to build on performance. Like I said, there's some individual things that we want to correct. The first thing we need to do is, from one of our objectives is to keep a clean sheet. It's been the basis of our foundation of success, to be good defensively. Without a doubt, the biggest inclusion into this group is one of the most informed strikers in the world right now, and leader in Bunny Shaw. She's been in great form, as we all know. So it gives us another option up front to go along with the other attacking options we have. But having her back in the group helps tremendously. So in terms of getting some of the service in the final product. So we're looking to have a good performance. Then that leads to obviously a good result to end up the year. But really, it is also about us continuing to evaluate and to make the proper assessment of the players who continue to kind of move forward. That are four of this team that will go into World Cup qualifiers. I mean, that's really the bigger picture. So short term, hey, let's get 2 good performances this week. It's 2 good results, and take that into the February window. That looks to be, constant. From there, looks to be a very busy year that we continue to build on the platform and the foundation that we're laying.
Yep, thank you very much, CC.
So CC asked these questions there, asked about the squad balance. He mentioned, the goalkeeping situation, personal reasons due to, that's why Sydney's not there. So potentially could have been the 3 goalkeepers with Leah Brooks there. I don't think he's mentioned it yet, Positive Vibrations Radio, but he's asked a question about some of the collegiate players, and he mentions that we have some young goalkeepers that we're looking at who also have collegiate they also have like collegiate responsibilities right at the current moment. To my knowledge, Serena Mensah is playing this current season, or is she not? Is she out of school? I think it's Serena. Trying to see if Mensah is still at Fordham or not. She's playing in the WPSL, which is a smaller league in the US, I think. I can't tell if she's actually still there or not. Let me search her on this site. Anybody, let me know. So personal reasons, Resid. How many minutes are required for the keepers? Because again, Chantel isn't getting minutes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Leah Brooks is up to either, I know at one point she was out there and I know she was in school. But Serena Mensah, that's one. Let me write that name down to find out what's going on with Serena Mensah. And a little check I just did, she's only showing in a league called the WPSL, a team in Michigan. So, but I don't know if that's the latest or not. Let me check this one. This one usually have everything. All right, so she's not listed on here anywhere. Yeah, I'm not sure, people. I'll have to do some more checks on that. Let's see. So people not really feeling some of the selections based on the playing time. Yeah, she hasn't played since the 3rd of November for the club over there at Leicester. Really only played 2 games, one in the league and one in the League Cup. I know looked like she was going to get some chances due to some injuries in her team, but looks like the players have recovered. So she's back on the bench. So not the most match fit to be totally honest. And I think Allison is suffering the same fate as well, just based on the game time. But we'll get into that once we finish the press conference. We're going to go through all the players, see what they're doing. Jody Brown didn't get any games also. No, she's been playing. I saw she scored a goal the other day. But we'll look at what's been going on recently with Jody.
Any other questions? You can raise your hand. We can take time for
it's
a
about
few
10 more
as
minutes
well.
of this.
And yeah, just to reiterate what Coach Busby said here, World Cup qualifying for the women does commence next year, 2025, and it will also be carried over into the calendar year of 2026 as well. So World Cup qualifying in more than just one of our national teams, senior men, senior women, U17 across both genders, and of course we have the under-20 women as well. So quite a number of World Cup qualifying action to look forward to in the calendar year of 2025. So any other questions, you may raise your hand and go ahead. Okay, Jason, you have another one? Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, again, Coach, just had a question. I've seen a push with the Reggae Boys recently in their time in Jamaica when they have windows, trying to have outreach with the fans. Is there anything in line for the girls to do so, since we can kind of try to take advantage of them having a little extended stay in Jamaica?
Well, I think there's some things being worked on as well. I think with the time between games and ensuring they also get some rest. There's some things that there are being worked on. I don't know exactly when those will be finalized. I do believe that it is vitally important as well. For them to be visible and to do some different things. And with that said, it's important through a long season for them to be able to also take some opportunity to kind of recharge and reset. So again, some of the things are being worked on. I think they'll probably be announced soon. But I also think it's also important outside of that. I think what's vitally important is for us to continue to have more matches when we can and when possible in Jamaica, so that, not just Montego Bay, but obviously, in Kingston, and to do some different things over a long period of time. So it's really important that we continue to bring these role models to the communities to these players, because we're here not just to inspire and unite us as a country, in terms of our sporting, but definitely to inspire the next generation of players to carry or pass on the torch to the next generation of players coming through as well. So yeah, vitally important, and hopefully we'll get some things done this window. If not, definitely the next.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Jason, do you want to take that, or somebody else? Please raise your hand. We can take one more question to wrap up this press conference for this morning.
We'd have some more, but brother, I never want to ask so many in a one.
All right, we'll take.
So let some other people go on.
The last question. Go ahead.
So, Coach, I noticed you said in terms of having
Need an
some of the
interview.
more informed strikers in our squad, and I think goal scoring has been a problem for the team in the past couple of games. Plus goal leaking, we have leaked quite a number of goals. In terms of going forward, we see you have 7 defenders, and as in the attack is balanced across defenders, midfielders, forwards. How do you plan to address that issue?
Yeah, I think it's really about, if you look back at the game, and again, I talk about moments. If you look at the 3 goals in the last particular game that we conceded, in terms of, there's things about our shape that I thought weren't great at moments. But individual errors that kind of led to the goal. And that's about focus. That's about a little bit of form. So making sure that we recognize those key moments, those danger times where we really need to be switched on. That we, as I alluded to before, one of the main objectives coming in is to keep our clean sheet and to get back to the foundation of making sure that we are solid. So that's vitally important as well. But yeah, it's about making sure that the players understand our distances between the front line, our back line are really compact in and out of possession. Making sure that the players are understanding their roles and responsibilities when we are defending, and how we look to transition into attack. And again, that we'll have some more time to do that. It's a little bit difficult when you're already on match day -3 by the time you arrive. The first day is recovery day, and then trying to implement some of those things based on what you see in France and based on some of the things that we want to do. And again, those aren't excuses. That's just the reality. And it goes back to what we're saying all along, is making sure that we're spending some more time together, making sure that players clearly understand their roles and responsibilities. And if they don't, the onus is on us as coaches to get those points across and to make sure that the messages that we're being delivered are taking in the right context so that they can go out there and perform accordingly. So yeah, valid points, things that we've addressed, like I said, in the post-analysis, things that we're looking to address, things in terms of their IDPs. So when they leave camp, these are the things in terms of reflections that you need to take, not just when you're with us. I think one of the things that we're really trying to say to some of our players are, if you're playing regularly and you're doing those things, how do you take some of the principles that we're trying to do into your club environment? The aggression defensively, cutting out some of the mistakes, making sure that you're switched on at all times, trying to support them with feedback. Sometimes when they ask and call us about things they've saw in their club environment, we try to help them as well. Those things are vitally important, and challenging them to, in some cases, we're not getting the minutes they need, is to challenge them to push their way to get more minutes, even with their club environment, and to provide whatever support we can there. So yeah, it's a holistic approach to helping them. They're professional players, but in terms of some of the young ones that have just broken through, we have to help them in their club environment, because if they're doing well as well, they come into our environment in better form, full of confidence, and that as well. So everything is under consideration. All those details are being looked at. But again, another valid point, and things that we're looking to address each and every camp and on a weekly basis when they reach out for any sort of feedback that we can give them.
Thank you, CC. We have David Williams. You can ask the last question this morning. Go ahead, David. Good morning.
Good morning, Coach, and thanks for having me. Coach, I'm seeing here saying that it's 17 games without a win. How important is this opportunity to try and get a positive result for the girls, seeing that this is a whole lot of games without actually getting a victory?
Yeah, we're not looking back. I think there's a lot of different reasons for that. That again, I think most of us understand and can appreciate. At the back of September, we're going back to literally to the World Cup. So we understand that. But again, it's, when you start looking at wins, it's my job and our job is to win matches. So let's get that out of the way. We're here to win matches, but we're here also to win the most important matches. And every match is important heading up to it. Every opportunity for us to get better and to improve on the performance needs to be taken into account. It's like another. So I said, it's not about the 17 matches, it's about what's the next match. What can we do in terms of the next match? As I sort of alluded to, coming back in to play Brazil, that went on to win the silver medal in the Olympics, and play France. Those are two top 10 oppositions in the world. I think what that means, like in global football. But with all that said, we are going to take those matches, and it's better than playing those matches than playing a team that is, ranked 100th in the world. And, we win those matches, and the questions aren't being asked because we've won matches and we've eliminated that losing streak. But having really seen or gotten what we needed to get out of those matches in terms of our baseline, right? Like, where are we at? And these 3 matches has given us a really good indication of things that really where we at in terms of how we need to get implement a lot of different things from a playing perspective. So yeah, to your point, look, no one wants to have everyone wants to end this losing streak, but with everything, it also has to be brought into context. And bring that into context means that means that we would have to go back and look at some things that we don't necessarily want to speak about during some times, and we want to talk about where we are now and where we want to go. So our goal is, yes, we're going to go out there to win matches. That's the objective, is to win these 2 matches. But really, it's about us ensuring that the performances are better than the last ones that we had.
All right, thank you, David. Tyrone Davis, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Coach. Thank you, Simon, for having me. Coach, now that you have your team, I think it's about 95 or 98% of the person that we know. How fast can you have them clicking and running to the Reggae Girlz that we used to see and winning matches? How quick can you get this team up and running?
Yeah, that's the objective. Each and every, again, I know everything is end focus, but again, it's about, I sound a little bit of a broken record. It's about getting a group back in. So these 2 games, the more games we play, the more matches we have together, the more that we can get them back to the speed and to the level that we know. But again, it's one of the things that we've noticed. You build a connection over the last 3 years. Relationships along the back line, relationships with players in front, and then there's a disconnect between some of that because you're not playing matches together, you're not together as a group. And then so that takes time to reintegrate. So we're playing that, and then it takes time to reintegrate when you're playing some top opposition. That always helps. So it doesn't always help, rather. So yeah, we're going to go into this camp for a improved performance. And the idea is that, look, we all want to win matches. We all know what that means. We all know the significance behind it. And that's the objective going into these 2 games against, a very quality opponent in South Africa. That still gives us a really good litmus test in terms of where we are and, more importantly, where we need to go. So that was the objective. We want to get the wins. We want to improve performance. And we're hoping that these next 2 games we will see a much more improved performance than we have before. That's for sure.
Thank you very much, Tiga. Coach, thank you very much for your time as well. And thank you very much to the members of the media for being here this morning. This recording will be shared with everyone in the media group right after this press conference. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. A gentle reminder, the match is November 29. That's at 8 p.m. kickoff, and December 2 kickoff is 7:30 p.m. Thank you very much for everybody, and we look forward to seeing you in Montego Bay next week. All right, everybody, have a pleasant rest of the day.
All right, so that was the squad announcement press conference. A lot of things said there. Basically the coach, stressing the importance of having a bit of patience because the team is trying to change the way we play. I see Duke not trying to hear it. Him say, how come the Reggae Girlz not winning 50 years? No, and nobody calling for a coach head. David asked the biggest question. That's I think David, that's King from Ballpree, asked the question about the last 17, not getting a win. So yeah, it's pressure is on, and I think the coach needs to strike a balance now between instilling these principles that he wants to instill and still setting us up to at least be more competitive in terms of the scoreline in some of these games. DJ Gig says, SofaScore didn't show the games Jody Brown played in. That's good, but I think Michaela Days could give more to the team than her. Well, I am not disagreeing that Michaela Days could offer something different than Jody. I think the problem with Michaela, though, is upon checks, because that's a player that I was going to ask about, as well as Taylor Hines, because she didn't get a chance to play in the game against France. But on some checks that I'm doing here, she is unfit because she was quite a big part of our team in France last year, played 22 games, scoring 5 goals. Their season is underway, and she's nowhere to be found as far as on the team sheets for their games this season. So that is something that's a bit strange for me. So I don't know if anybody knows her personally, but she has definitely not been involved in the season as of yet. They have played 8 games so far in Division 2 in France. And as I said, she was a big part of the team last year, starting the majority of the games, contributing in the goal scoring area as well. but she has not played yet this season. So I think that could be a part of the reason why we haven't seen Michaela on this listed squad here. I'm trying to see. Yeah, so they have played matches this year. As I said, they've played 8 matches, so not having the best of seasons, 2 wins, 1 draw, 5 losses. But yeah, she's not playing to my knowledge. Tiga last name is Livingston. No. I think Tiga last name is Davis, I think. Geta said, where can I watch the game? Geta, as of right now, I'm not sure. I haven't gotten any details as far as who's covering the game. It's Friday night, so I should be able to live stream it. If I can, I will throw it in the Discord for sure. But as far as finding what channel it's going to be on and all that, I will have that info, I'm sure, before game day. So just stay tuned to the channel and you'll get that info. Derek G said, where is Izzy Groves? That's a good question. So I think this is a good time now to let's just get the squad on the screen, and we're going to go through all the players. And as I'm doing that, you guys can let me know if you want to, any players you want to ask me about. But since we are asking about Izzy now, let's do this. So that's the squad on screen. So I am looking at this. To me is the most comprehensive free site that you can find for women's information in football. It is Soccer's Easy. So an easy check of Izzy Groves. Let's see. I might have her under Israela. Let's just try the last name. Percy Clark. Make sure you guys are liking the video. There she is. It's IS. 25 years of age, Izzy. All right, so 24-25. We are not seeing anything. Last year she played 16 games for London City. It's not listing her with a club either, which is kind of strange. All right, let me try another site. Hold on. I have about 3 different sites that I work with for the women's game because they make it a little more difficult for you to find these things for some reason. So let me go to this other site I was looking at. No, it's not in English, but can kind of figure out. So I was looking up Michaela just to make sure she's still at Rodez in France, and she is. But let's now look up Izzy. So nothing for Izzy on this site. Okay, there she goes. Variance. What that mean? Unattached? So transfers for Izzy. London City. Yeah, so I'm assuming that this means unattached. So looks like her contract was up in July. They didn't re-sign her at London City. So to my knowledge, Izzy is a free agent currently. If anybody else has info to the contrary, let me know. What happened to the beautiful Taylor Hines? I asked my first question in the press conference that I got a chance to ask. I asked about Taylor. It is nothing to be worried about. There's still some documentation stuff they need to figure out. So they want to go ahead and get that done before we get into any windows that it's official, qualifying games and things of that nature. So that is why she's not there. She's still a heavy part of the coach's plans. So do not worry. Izzy Groves, yeah. Izzy Groves is not playing right now. Man's comparing Davis to Jody Brown. Are you mad? Davis? Oh, Days to Jody Brown? Why not? Why can't I compare Days and Jody Brown? Days is a decent baller. Coach calling and playing strikers who are not on form. Sade and Melissa Johnson score 1,000,000 goals and can't get a minute either. Yeah, Johnson is a surprising one. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the mindset is a TikTok mindset where she's too old. I don't know. You can watch the game and catch her now. Well, that's for sure. Get that David laugh. Where is the number 17 from Gilbert Stint? She looked very good. The number 17. The number 17. Let's see if I can figure out what player you're talking about there. Jamaica football. So when would Gilbert? Let's see. Let's do a check, people. So Jamaica women. All right. So Gilbert would have coached them in the Women's Gold Cup, right? So let's check this team and see who number 17 was. Guatemala game. 17 didn't start this one. Oh, Zoe, the defender. Okay. I don't know. You know, Zoe last season was still playing in college. Right, did a whole heap of Zoe. But narrow down the search. I think it's 2 R's and a E. Zoe Vid. Alright, she not make it in the worldwide rankings yet. She not coming up on any of these sites. Okay, so she's just playing academy level in the US. Bethesda SC. So hasn't quite kicked on. But that's what you're talking about, Zoe Vidori. Jody, Den, and Tiff still getting a call, shaking my head. Well, Jody has improved herself. She gone to Portugal to play. Den doing really well in Liga MX. I just think she's not a defender, so they should play her more up the pitch. And Tiffany Cameron, still doing her thing as well. So, you know, there's a lot of the younger group of girls kind of busy with their NCAA schedule. So maybe, you know, that's why some players are, you know, still around the team. But look, I mean, these girls are doing well enough to get called, I think. And I'm gonna show you guys what's going on in their season so far. Cameron re-upped with Real Betis for this season, and she's getting game time, so that's good. I watched the women on a number of sites too. The people know when Jody Brown was 16, she was leading us in scoring in World Cup qualifying. Izzy should be involved if fit. I didn't see Hines on the list. No, she's not there. She's not there. Kiki just coming back from injury, so probably not quite yet. Maybe around early next year. Papers shouldn't be an issue for Taylor. Grandparents and father straight Jamaican. Yeah, but El Meeks, the grandparents thing take longer than the parents, you know. So that could be an issue. Yeah, man, she was a baby back then. Just a forward. Coach too sentimental. Is Canadian countrywoman Cameron. She need to be dropped. So people are really not feeling the Cameron selection. I just don't think we ever play Cameron where she would play well. She's not a right back. I will keep putting her at right back because we don't have no right back. So I don't know. I don't think she's a right back at all. She's a forward. And when you look at the forwards in the team, the likes of Khadija, McKenna, I would say, is ahead of her. You know, she has experience over the likes of Buckley and Richards, probably better right now, equipped for the international game. You know, playing at a higher level consistently. You know, I'd say Shania Hales and her probably battling it out, and Jody Brown, you know, because I think Tiffany Cameron best role is a wide forward or a two in a two striker system, being one of the strikers. I don't know if she's the lead the line type of striker by herself with a single 9. But yeah, I think because of the nature of her utility style, I think the coach values her highly. And she does put in a shift at wherever you put her. So, it is what it is. Staying on the wagon of Kayla needs to be studied. Yeah, look, she's not the flashiest forward in the world. Very just does the simple things as a player. And she's not gonna really wow you with any type of flashiness, but I mean, she's a very, very good professional. I think her movement is really good. Even when we play tougher teams, the chances tend to fall to her when she's on the pitch. Now, the conversion hasn't been what we want, but she is a clinical finisher. That's one of the reasons why she's playing over there in Spain. So yeah, I understand Kayla still being around. I think she has things to offer the team for sure. She's not a right back, but she can't compete with the current forwards. Coach trying to find a place for her. Yeah, I think they should just list her as a defender in the team because you're right. When the full complement of forwards are available, I think Tiffany is just on the outside looking in, to be honest. But she is a good baller, though. Yeah, but Tierney's, she's out of the game right now, So, well, Jody Brown has default every time I watch her played, and I'm not out of many land people fan when it comes. Cameron has paid well, in my opinion. Yeah, she does her job. I think Wilshire, though, Wilshire is the one. I love Tierney Wilshire at right back. Love it. Flashy isn't the thing. Missy. Yeah. I understand that. She has recently for Jamaica, when the chances have fell to her, she has not converted. Yeah. Bailey Gale can't score a goal. All right, so we have about another 40 minutes or so before I close the program. I'm actually watching the City game as well. Hammerby still 0-0, 21 minutes. Bonnie obviously out there, and they're away, so they'd like to get this win. So let me get the squad back up. All right, so this is the squad, people. So Rebecca Spencer, of course, we know. Let's take a look at what she's been up to this season. Just as I said, their team not doing the best in the league. You see her games or her highlights, she's always constantly in these compromising situations around the back. Recently signed a new contract, so congrats to her. Re-upping with Tottenham, I think, until 26, I want to say. So like another 2 years. So that's a good look for her. Can focus on her club, not worried about, how next year is going to look. But like I said, they're having a tough time in the league. Let me show you guys the statistics so far. I think that's a good good comparison, DJ Giggs. Cameron and Bobby Reed, kind of similar in terms of the different things they can do. All right, so this is Rebecca Spencer so far. 8 games played, 720. So obviously she's starting the games that she plays. She has conceded 21 goals though. So as I said, a tough time for her in the league. Can't really put that all on her. She has had some very good scores in terms of the grades of the games. SofaScore does actually give you stats by the game. So let me actually pull up the SofaScore one for Becky so we can see a little more detail. All right, so this is Becky Spencer SofaScore profile. 6.60 this season in the Super League. As you can see, up and down form so far. But again, the Liverpool game, the Chelsea game, the twice when they played Chelsea, of course, there were kind of more difficult situations for her. But in the Super League, 8 games played, as I said, conceding almost 3 goals a game. Tough. 3 penalties she faced. She hasn't saved any. She's making about 3 saves a game, over 55%, over 50% save percentage. Runouts, she's been 100%. But the thing with Becky that you need to be concerned with sometimes is the mistakes. So when you look at defending, she had one error that led to a goal. So you just want to watch that with Becky sometimes. She is very good with her feet, but she does take chances sometimes trying to get balls into spaces that maybe are a little bit too tight. Wow, tough. But yeah, Becky Spencer, 33 years of age. I don't think it's old at all for a goalkeeper in the women's game. So don't listen to TikTok Becky. You have plenty of years ahead of you. And Tottenham agrees because they just re-upped your contract again. And this could be a handball to Man City. It looks like they're looking at it. No, they didn't give it. Bonnie sent in a cross and it got flicked on and hit a girl. Looked like on the hand, but they didn't call anything. All right, so Ernest said, not to throw your program off the rail. Has it been confirmed that members of the boys team went clubbing before the game on Monday against USA? I don't know anything of that nature. I heard Ryan report on it, but the story that I'm hearing now is that they went out the night of the game in Kingston. So it wouldn't have been the hotel in the US, but I could be wrong on that. Again, it's just speculation. I don't know. I don't have anything confirmed. Big up the ladies and man them. Big up Conrad. Hope City win because Chelsea took the... Yes, they did. Chelsea look like they're not going to lose a game in this league this season. I'm telling you. Becky made some bad mistakes, but her defenders are our biggest ups. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That team needs some fixing around the back. They need some better players. Spencer used to shelling. She gives up so many goals at her club. TikTok, believe me, you need to watch that Tottenham girls team play. It's not all her fault, I'm telling you. I agree with this. She's the best right back I have seen. Billy, the biggest fan. Yeah, man. Yeah, Spencer is the greatest thing. Yeah, Lee Young. After I say it, I said John O'Star. Sometimes when you talk about football, it's impossible not to say some things that, if people want to act like a child, it will look away, But yeah, that's Becky Spencer so far this season. Let me stop sharing this because very few of the girls will have their stats there. So Float says still Spencer and any 10. Yeah, man, I don't think Becky is losing her place anytime soon. Leah Brooks, people, Leah Brooks. So Leah Brooks, I was not able to really find much information on any reputable sites around the world. But I'll show you what I saw. They're basically showing you that she didn't play in the fixtures against Brazil. She's currently at Lane United, is what it's saying. Lane United is in Eugene, Oregon, and they are in the USLW League. So, sadly though, when you click on the Lane United matches, they don't give you any information as far as squads and who played the games or anything. They just tell you that they played 10 games. They have 1 win, 2 draws, and they've lost 7. They're conceding 3 goals a game. So they're not having the best time of the world so far. Let me see if I can just click on like a recent game. Okay, so this season actually would have been done from all the way back in June of this year. So I'm not really sure what type of football she's been playing lately. So that's something, if I get another opportunity to ask any questions, if there's a pre-match or anything, I will ask about Leah Brooks and what she's actually doing. Now, of course, I don't pay for Y Scout and some of the paid ways to follow these players. And that might be something that Jason Gooner TV will have to invest in because I hate not being able to see what's going on with the players. Yes, I agree. Leah does look good. Is there any concern playing at Catherine Hall? The last national team that played, some players complained. Well, the JAMPL, that's just going to be something that you guys down in Jamaica will have to let me know because, I know that Catherine Hall was getting some work done since the last time that we had a game there. I don't know, the results of that work. So I guess we will get to see. I won't see it, up close and personal there, but I'll get to watch the game and see how the field looks compared to how we saw it looking the last time because, yes, the last time was not a good look at all. Wilshire maternity leave. Yeah, I have the game on right here on my phone, but obviously I can't be looking at it all the time. So I'll be able to watch the whole second half because I won't run the program more than another 30 minutes or so. Yeah, she decided to go pro. She decided to go the pro route. You know, right now she's in the W League, that's the USL League. You know, when she left, well, she did enroll at Washington State, but decided to go pro, I think. So she's no longer at Washington State. She's at Lane United, in the WSL, or in the women's equivalent of the USL, basically, the championship. So yeah, that's news to me. Like I said, it's sadly not giving me any stats for the season. They played like a 10-game season, but I'm not getting any stats for that. So I'm not sure if she played. Bunny score. Ooh, she got some luck there, but cut inside on her right foot, took the shot. That's why you have to shoot people. And the deflection went looped over the keeper into the far post. So Bunny Shaw, looks like the fans are throwing stuff at her. And she gets a yellow card for getting hit by something. Bro, what? Yo, did anybody just see that? Bunny Shaw went over, them throwing things at her. She looked like she get hit or almost get hit, and then the ref gave her a yellow card. Whoa, that is strange. Yeah, no Taylor. I asked that my first question in the press conference was about Taylor Hines, and I was assured that she's definitely in the plans. He was very impressed with her, and it's just some you know, paperwork and documentation stuff they want to shore up before she gets brought back into the group. So nothing to do with her not coming back ever again or anything like that. Okay, so MBU has been playing on it. Yeah, so I saw some highlights of an MBU goal. I mean, it never looked that good, to be honest, but it never looked as bad as before. Kennedy drank her Milo before this fixture. Mobe did some work on the pitch, but I'm not sure everything else is international standards. Okay. As far as yeah, because it's nighttime, so lights and them thing there. Well, we're gonna find out. So goal from Bunny in the CL. Yeah, man, a shocker. Big scorer, you know. Leah is doubling up with college and a USL team. Maybe that's a possibility because I never really checked. Let me see. Leah Brooks, Washington State. Okay, here we go. 2024 Soccer Rasta. She's a redshirt freshman. Stats. So she made one appearance this year for 45 minutes. Made a save. It was a 5-0 loss, but I think they were down 5-0 already, I think. So she had a clean sheet in the second half. Or what SF stand for. So yeah, I'm just looking at her stats, people. She only played 45 minutes so far in her career at Washington State, and she's a redshirt freshman. So she has a lot of years of eligibility left. So she is doing double duty. So in the summer she was with that USL team, and she's still at Washington State. So she has not left college or anything like that. I think who was saying that? I'm not sure. I think it was TikTok. Yeah, so she's still in college, TikTok. Yeah, I'm watching it on my phone. Or well, it's on my phone. I can't watch it and do this at the same time. But was Easy Groves named in the squad for the upcoming friendlies? And if not, did the coach give any indication as to why? No, her name didn't come up in the press conference from any of the questions, and I didn't ask about her personally. But when I did some checks on what she's up to now, she has not secured a club since she left London City in July. So I'm assuming based on that she has been overlooked for this window. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. That's what I'm thinking. Like, was it that she went into the support? She went over to the supporter section to kind of show off. I don't know. I mean, she looked like she was just standing there. I'm not going to turn up the volume, but I'm sure. I mean, obviously something happened besides just the celebration, because from what I saw on video, nothing really warranted a yellow card. Yeah, she's doubling up. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube on the Zone. DAZN UEFA Women's Champions League comes on YouTube free all season long. Yeah. On the Fire Stick, you might just be better off just going to YouTube. If you have YouTube on your television, if you want to watch it on your TV, you know, because it's on the Zone. There's an actual YouTube channel called the Zone UEFA Women's Champions League, and they show games all throughout the tournament, even up to the final. It will be on YouTube too. Yeah, I don't know how that works, but I like it. It's nice. All right, so that's the goalkeepers basically. You know, I guess the key will be, does he find some minutes for Leah? You know, she'll be with the team. Of course, this is more about development and, you know, being around a professional like Rebecca Spencer. But will he find some time for her? You know, 45 minutes. You know, half of a half. That would be nice to get her a chance to play with. You know, what would be like, you know, probably the closest thing she would ever play with the first team. You know, normally when these keepers that Reggae Girlz call that aren't in the first team get a chance, they play with other girls that maybe aren't in the first team. So it's always good to get a chance to play with, you know, what is considered the best of the best for the nation, right? So let's move on to the defenders. So Alison Swaby. I think Alison's league is actually on SOFA in terms of the actual games and stuff. Is it? Let me see. Yes, so it actually is. So we'll look at SOFA score for Alison. This is what she's been up to. You know, I heard earlier people saying, boy, the Swaby sisters are bench captains. And to be totally honest, it's kind of been that way for Alison lately. So if you see here, total played 6 games, 2 started, only 42 minutes a game. And so far this season, a total of 251 minutes. So not really the most activity right now. You know, lately she has come into the games late. You know, if you look here, part of the reason why I like this site a little more, they give you like a different type of breakdown of everything. So let me show you what I'm talking about here on the soccer website here. Stop sharing. Let's go. So still 1-0 for City. All right, let's go to this here. So Alison Swaby, this is what she's been up to. And I like how they break this down by fixture. So they give you, you know, she's played 6 times with 2 starts. And they tell you the minutes. They also include injury time, which is nice. So, you know, and they'll show you details of each game. So she subbed on in the 88th, the 83rd, the 82nd. She started this one and subbed out in the 73rd minute and came on in the 27th minute of this one. So that's her 6 appearances right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then she started the opening game of the season, played all 90 minutes. And that was the only time this year that she actually started and played the entire game. So, yeah, it's been a rough go of it for her. If you look at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, her last 7, she had 4 did not plays, and 3 times she came on after the 80th minute. So, yeah, it's not really what she would really want out of her game time, but you know, she just have to put her head down and work and try to get into the coach's plans for the first team. But you know, it's not good to see, you know, what we would consider one of the cornerstones of our backline, you know, having trouble getting game time. I don't want to see that issue we have with the Reggae boys start to filter over to the Reggae Girlz as well. But Alison Swaby back in the team, I think, based on what she has done, yeah, it makes you raise your eyebrow, but at the same time, the quality is there. We've seen it. We've seen her do it at the highest level for Jamaica. So, it's going to be tough to just displace someone like Allison. And even for me, her sister as well. I know she had a really tough game against France, was culpable for one of the goals for sure. But again, I think she has enough capital built up for me to where, at least getting a look in the squads. Maybe we don't rely on them to start every single time like we have been. If we have others that can step up, but and are playing more regularly. But I think within the squad and in and around the squad, I think they deserve their place. Just out of curiosity, is the career span longer for women football versus men's? I would say yes. I think they play a bit later into their careers for the most part. If you look at some teams around the world, it's not uncommon to see 36 years and older players in national teams starting, still being star players. Yes, I think it's you see it a bit more in the women's game, the career span being a little bit longer. Yes, I think on average I would say that is true. Chantel maybe even less. Yeah, Angel City messed her up. Yeah, that was a bad time for her. We heard her talk about that previously in interviews, and yeah, it sounded like a really horrible situation she had to go through with that whole time frame. Let's take a look now at Chantel, her sister. I'm gonna go on this same site here so you can see the breakdown of the minutes. Let's see. So we have Chantel Swaby, recently moved in the transfer window to Leicester City. And as you can see, when you look at the fixtures this season for Leicester, it does not make good reading if you're a Chantel Swaby fan. 2 fixtures, she started both and played 90 minutes in both, one in the league, one in the League Cup. But if you look at all the fixtures that the team has played so far in the league, 8 games played in the league, only this is not our league, so there's 1 Leagues Cup game in there. But basically, this is 9 fixtures, and she's only featured in 2. Started and played 90 in both, but her most recent games after her start, which was actually a 1-0 defeat to Brighton, they've lost the next 2 after that as well, and she did not get any game time in those games at all. So Chantel Swaby, a total of 180 minutes so far this season, not the best output for her. So the Swaby sisters definitely will use this window to try to get some match fitness for sure if they are called upon to play, which I think they probably will be. So we'll be seeing them at some point. TikTok said we have to find replacement for the Swabys. They don't look like they like to play for Jamaica. What? Why would you say that? Even 40s. Yeah, man. Martha is what, 39, 40, 41, something like that. Bonnie Love walk on the people and feel. She's really the star. She just wants the ball on her feet. Yeah, I mean, she's dangerous in the zone. She's dangerous in. I think she has added to her overall game though. Since she's been to City. I think it was even worse in France in terms of the walking. Yeah, I don't know, TikTok. I disagree with that take that they don't look like they like to play for Jamaica. I don't know. I think they just have very serious faces when they play football. I don't think it has anything to do with them not wanting to play for Jamaica, though. I think that's a bit of a stretch. All right, so let me look at the squad one more time. So we have Kanya Plummer. That's the other one that I want to definitely showcase. Was not involved the last couple of windows. Or was she involved in the Brazil window? I can't remember. I know she wasn't in the France one. But was she in the other one, though? I think she was in this one, Yeah, so Kanya did play the first game in this one. Picked up an injury. Had to come off. I don't think she featured in the second game at all. No, she never featured in the second game at all. Oh, no, she did come on in the second game too. But then in the France window, I think she was left off the squad. Yeah, she wasn't in the squad for the French window. So we saw her last play for Jamaica against Brazil, starting one and coming off the bench in the other. But what I wanted to highlight Kanya for was her game time over at Fenerbahce, because she has moved over to Turkey. I think in July she made that move over, and I must say that it's very pleasing what she has been up to. They don't have the fixtures here, so where did I find Kanye? I think it was on this one. So I had to kind of get creative and come to this site where I don't understand what they're saying, but they do give us some stats. So she's played 8 times, a total of 711 minutes. So 8 times 90 is about 720. So that means she's getting the bulk of the minutes starting and playing a lot. She's only subbed off 1 time, and she has actually 3 assists so far in the season. I know Tor is goal. So yeah, this is assist. So she has 3 assists on the season. But one thing I love about this move for her, she's playing her role, center back. As you can see her heat map there where she's normally at on the field. Always a threat from set pieces. And I'm just happy that she has found a home and she's getting regular minutes. She's definitely one of the stalwarts of the defense of Fenerbahce right now. And just based on match fitness, I wouldn't be surprised if we see her getting a start in this game coming up here. So Kanya Plummer, just anxious to see what she looks like now that she's in a situation where she's playing a lot. Towards the end in Mexico, she started to play a lot more as well. And it looks like she has found a place that she's truly wanted and loved. And I love the fact that she's getting a lot of minutes. That is wonderful. TikTok, how do you know the Swabies don't like to play for Jamaica? You have to be the most divisive, negative commenter on YouTube. Shaking my head. Yeah, I mean the coach is probably fine with her staying in the zones she needs to stay in. You need to be you have to be emotional about Jamaica to do well for Jamaica. Most of our girls beat the Caribbean because they are just better developed. Okay. But I don't, you see, the reason why I don't agree with your TikTok is because maybe I'm a little different. I was born in the States, and obviously my parents are both Jamaican, a very Jamaican household, even when I was living here. I got the chance to move to Jamaica when I was a child and lived there for about 9 to, I think, 10 years growing up. So maybe I'm a little bit different, a little more in tune, but to automatically assume that, the emotional standpoint isn't there because they never lived in Jamaica, I think it's just not. I think it's very unfair to assume that they can't have the same level of pride because they never lived in Jamaica. I just don't think that's true. The familial connection is great for a lot of these players. I was lucky enough to live in Jamaica as well, which kind of, maybe gives me a bit more. But even if I never did, I always follow the Jamaica teams. Even when I was in the States living as a kid, I would follow Jamaica teams as well. So I don't know, man. I think it's always a different situation for each household and each person. Remember, you said he's a part of the JFF. Maybe he knows something nobody else knows. Oh gosh. Liverpool lady. She's still in the coach's plans. Some documentation issues going on, so they didn't want to. They want to just focus on that, get that done. I know Pika will be closing in December, so perhaps they want to get that all over the line before that happens. So yeah, just nothing to do with her. She will be back in the team when the time is right. Just right now, they want to focus on getting all the necessary documentation finished, completed, so that there's no issues moving forward. I'm saying TikTok is an AI. Yeah, so hopefully you just heard that answer, Irie Vibes. Bro, I'm seeing this girl, Lexi Lightsmith, every day. Reggae Girlz Foundation posting her scoring goals. And I'm like, yo, what's going on with this girl, So that's another one. We'll definitely do some research on Lexi Lightsmith, get some more info. All he knows is how to denigrate, belittle, and offend. The same way I knew that Hutchinson did not want to play for us. I read people well. Oh gosh. So basically, you were right on Hutchinson, and I'm sure you don't want to mention the other players you were potentially wrong about in your time of evaluating players based off body language, TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I think the majority of our girls are very committed. Yeah, I don't, and it's kind of hilarious to me. I've always asked this. Why is it that there isn't this huge like backlash against players being recruited for the girls when sometimes for the men's side it's met with, and I think it just has to do with the development or lack of development of the girls league in Jamaica. There aren't as many stakeholders, wanting their players to get the look in. Now that's probably going to change as the league develops. I will see if there's ever a time when it's an issue. But with the girls team, it just seems like we are much more open to recruiting the talent, Muffin. Osh. Sure. Oh, sorry, I mute myself because I'm muffin, but yeah. Yeah, man, that is exactly what she's saying. She's hearing me talk about the lack of commitment and getting upset, The only thing you're great at is being negative, no substantive positive observation or perspective. So you say you have never been wrong. All right. Well, TikTok, I can only take your word for it because I've never challenged you on every single player. But yeah, I will now that you're aware of my channel and it looks like you'll be watching from time to time. This will happen again, and we'll be able to decide if you have 100% track record or not. But yeah, I don't know, man. Without any kind of evidence besides body language and these things, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? I don't personally see it. But hey, you have your opinion, and you are welcome to. This is a free space to give your opinion. So it is what it is. All right. So Naya Cardosa, player that is still in college, playing for Brown University, had a good season this season. We saw her at this level going up against Brazil, where I thought she really struggled to get up to speed with the pace of play. But clearly, it's a player that the coach Busby has time for. I want to say that Naya, I don't want to misspeak, but I feel like she might be. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so she is from Canada as well. So I figured there was that connection there. So yeah, that's one that for me, we'll see. I think she has some developing to do, some growth to do, but there are opportunities in this squad for that. We have the likes of the Buckleys, the Richards of the world, the McNamara's of the world. Cardosa would fall in line with that, as well as Leah Brooks. So we see about 6 players or so in this 23 that I would say definitely have an eye to the future. So yeah, that is it. So Naya, congratulations, but getting back in the team. And we love to see you getting these challenges so early in your career again. So we'll see how you stand up to the challenge this time. Vian Sampson, I think Vian Sampson probably one of the unsung heroes for me of this Reggae Girlz setup. She's now 28 years of age. She currently plays over in I think she's in China, if I'm not mistaken, or not China, Japan. I'm sorry. Muffin, Bill no, Bill no muffin. Yes, them outsider do them work. Just Bill. Yeah, she's in the Wii League. So she's over there in Japan. And she has been playing some games over there as well. And I love the fact that you can get actual statistical data from the games as well, which is lovely. So let's just take a look at what she's been up to in the J League over there. They call it the Wii League over there. My name said muffin a cuss TikTok. But yeah, this is what I want to show you guys now. So Vian Sampson, people, she is over there in the Wii League, as I said, in Japan. And, she's one of the main players over there for her team. She has started 7 out of the 9 games so far, playing the bulk of the minutes, 76 minutes per game. You see her heat map. She plays center back for the most part. Can play a bit of right back as well, or right center back in a 3. But, if you just look at the most recent game they played, finished 0-0. She's at this team, INAC Kobe. And if you look at the heat map here of the game, she actually did play in the center of midfield in this one, in the double pivot role. She had a good game as well, a 7.1. So, versatile player. We have seen her play for Jamaica in midfield and also in defense. And I think that she's a player that, to me, tactically just fits the bill in terms of being a shield for the back line. I think, though, her true best position for me is probably at center back. So if we can continue to improve the options in midfield, I think eventually we will see her make that transition to the back line more permanently. At least that's what I would like to see, right? So, it looks like she had a couple of games after the window where she didn't start. I think these were the 2 games where she didn't start, and then she was back in the lineup for the last game. But if you look at the games prior to the window, so I remember I had checked, she was playing on the back line. So it looks like they have had some players return from injury, and she has kind of lost her place on the back line. But she started out the season pretty much playing in a back 4 system on the back line. And as you can see, since the international break, they have had some players return. The coach has gone to a back 3 system, and Vian is either on the bench or playing in midfield. So that will be a good one to watch as the season progresses. Where does she end up playing the bulk of her games, and how does that tie into what you see her doing for the Reggae Girlz? But I like this player, Vian Sampson. I think she's really good. And yeah. You going to behave yourself? Probably not. Muffin is a girl, by the way. So she's missing her siblings, All right, so let's see. Who else did I want to highlight on the back line? So Denisha Blackwood, Shaban Wilson. So Shaban Wilson is a player that we haven't seen in the fold for a while, but a player that I've always been calling for, because I think she is a player that can fulfill the needs at that left back area. Of course, this would have been before we knew about the likes of Taylor Hines joining the Reggae Girlz. But I think the main issue that I have with Shaban's inclusion, a player that I've always wanted to see in the setup as long as she's fit. But, if we're talking about game time being something that we look at to pick these players, 1 game in and 12 minutes so far this season in the Women's Championship in England, really not what you'd like to see as far as, being prepared to play a fixture for the Reggae Girlz, or even 2 fixtures. So, she definitely won't be able to give us 2 90-minute appearances, I don't think. But I do think that she will play because, Denisha Blackwood listed as a defender. We saw her in the last game, didn't really play defense. She played ahead of Taylor Hines. And I think for me, moving forward, I would love Den to not be a member of the backline anymore. I think she would be much better as a midfielder, maybe even playing some forward as well. So yeah, I think Shaban is going to get usage just because of that. I think that he's going to want to have a look at her as a left back, try to make sure that we can nail down 2 to 3 players in that role. And I think similar to me, he wants to also see the progression of Denisha from the back line into a more forward position or attacking position. So yeah, one red flag for me is just one game, 12 minutes. But I think from what I know of this player, what I've seen of her in years past, she has had really bad luck with injuries, so we don't know what kind of physical shape she's going to be in. But she's just not playing. So it's just one of those ones. I think it's an area where the coach definitely wants to improve and increase the pool of players, that left back area, and I'd say right back as well. And so she just provided an opportunity to do so. But I really don't love the fact that she's only played one game so far this season. I am mostly right, not always. I was also right when I advocate giving a chance to local players like Cephas, Campbell, and McGee will contribute a lot to our senior men's team. We just need East. Well, yeah, at least you have gone from you're always right to mostly right, not always. So that is actually progress from you, TikTok. I appreciate that. I don't know if anybody else does, but I do. From 132 for 1, Scorpions plummeted sharply to 136 for 4. My gosh, 3 wicket in and 4 run alone. That's not good. All right, look like the second half both start up. So let me just see, is there any more players? Yeah, so let's just take a look at Den. We know that she's over there in Mexico. Some of you might not be keeping up with what she's been up to, but let me show you guys. They don't have it up here. All right. Muffin, please. The people, they like you, Muffin. What's wrong with this girl, man? All right, hold on, people. I have to find back the site. Yeah, so then she's over there. The team is actually doing well as well, and she's a big part of the success over there. So she's now 27 years of age. You see her listed. She's still listed as a defender, but I think they also added midfielder to it. She's played 18 games and scored 4 goals this season. But I mean, more important than the goals or anything like that, the biggest stat that I love, 18 played, 18 starts. You know what I'm saying? So that is wonderful. If you look at the actual fixtures, playing the bulk of the minutes for the most part, full matches, if she subs off at least the 70th minute, 80th minute or so, the goals have dried a little bit for the last couple of games, but I would say that the team is doing fairly well. 9 wins, 6 draws right now. 6 losses and 3 draws. And yeah, they've played 18 games in Apertura. And like I said, she is getting all the minutes, a lot of the minutes. So then keep it up. Keep improving. And like I said, coach, do not be afraid to let her play high up the pitch. I think that's where she'll do a lot better. It says cranky narrative that, no, man, I could have swore the first time I challenged you about it, man, you said something about always being right, So don't make cranky be the reason why I said that. Yeah, man, that will be in the tactical preview when we talk about the other team as well. If I was going to ask one more question, I was going to ask about his plans to nullify Catalana from South Africa. The second most expensive sale out of the US Women's League. I think the club in Mexico over there, actually the club that Kanya transferred out of, Tigres, they paid like 275,000 for her, something crazy. So yeah, very expensive. I've never said I'm always right. Just cranky fake narrative. It doesn't seem to speak that show. I have no problem with dissenting perspective, but one needs to be balancing one's approach. This dog is a Yorkie and Maltese mix. Hold on. City gets scored on? Oh gosh. See when our ball for Keating start. And look how she made that simple ball that go across her goal. Oh, she was late. Man City girl wanted a foul, but I don't think it was a foul. So they're having a who is more balanced competition. Well, Cranky have a YouTube channel named Balance Views, so I would hope, if he put it in his title of his channel. All right. All right, let's see. So we have Primus, Powell, McNamara, Jade Bailey. So let's take a look at Primus. We know we can probably see what kind of stats she has. I believe she's in the championship this season over there in England with Charlton Athletic. Does she pass your body language check, TikTok, or no? She has played 6 games in the league, in the championship, and 1 in the WSL Cup, the FA Cup. And this is how our fixtures look. Let me get this on the screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at. All right, so this is what she's been up to. 7 games, 3 games started. So not the highest of minutes there. They have played a total of 7 fixtures, actually. And the good thing is at least all the fixtures that they have played, she has been involved. One she did not play. I think she might not have even gotten to the club as yet then, or just got there. But yeah, she, mix of starts and coming off the bench, but at least she's being involved. She has 1 game where she played the full, 2 games she played the full 90. She got to play the FA Cup match against Tottenham for 90, and then she played she had her first league start on the 20th of October, right before the last window. She did miss the first couple of games after the window, and she did return on the 17th, a few days ago, to play 24 minutes off of the bench in a 2-1 loss to Bristol City. So Atlanta, not starting as much as maybe she would like, but definitely in the coach's plans, it would seem, getting game time once she's fit in the championship for Charlton. So that is good to see for Atlanta. Next one I want to check on, of course, Powell, we know, training with the U20s lately, getting prepared for that. Played some games with Fraser's Whip in the Champions Cup, so she's been kind of getting her development locally in Jamaica. Peyton McNamara, I know she would have played what should be now her final season at Ohio State. Let me just double check and make sure that she did play this year. I think she did, because I remember checking this the last time. Let's see. Connecticut. Yeah, so she has played 13 games this season. Her season would have ended, I think her last game would have been the 15th of November. And I want to say this was don't think they made it to the tournament. But yeah, she central midfielder. 1 goal, 1 assist this season. Playing a deeper line role. But yeah, she pretty much played the bulk of her season in Division 1 at Ohio State. She got through that season well, and I think this would be her last year. Yeah, she's a senior now, so that's pretty much it for her college career. So we'll be very interested to see what she does. Will she go to the NWSL draft? Will she try to apply her trade overseas? She's 22 years of age now, so I'm sure she'll be looking to kick on with her professional career now that she's seen out her time in college. So get to see another look at Peyton McNamara. 2-1. Oh, so they were up 2-0 already. So I missed Bonnie's second goal. Wow. Somebody said we need the boys team up front. Let me go back and say Bonnie goal. Can I miss it, you know? Okay, so it was 1-1, and then after I see that goal, she scored so fast. I don't know. Yo, Kiara Keating is beautiful, you know, man. What a strike. I'm see the build up. All right. Big baller. Advancing. Bunny. That might win goal of the week in the CL. What a goal. Man who have beat any Jamaican coach they didn't pick can't be balanced. Okay. For real? Yeah, man. Hasagawa is so good, bro. She's so good. Yeah, man. Just watch it, man. What a goal. What a goal. No boycott. They have a right to say what they want so long as they are respectful. I'm not going to ban someone because they're negative or we really agree. Yeah, that is it. 2-1. Can she play for Jamaica? Who? Hasagawa or Kiara Keating? Which one? Keating is stopper. Very young, but a stopper. Yo, Keating is beautiful. I know that much. It's a pretty girl. All right. So Peyton, let's see who else. Jade Bailey. What's Jade Bailey up to? Because she's another one that have terrible luck with injury, you know, man. Coming like if your name Bailey, you're just injured. Jade Bailey. She's 29 now. She's now at Sheffield United. Okay, so the last window, she was just kind of getting into her games. Now, as you can see here, or well, you can't see. Let me show you. Yeah, talk about incoming hat trick. They met a defender corner, yeah. All right, so this is Jade Bailey, people. She, excuse me, she has 8 games played. She has started 6 of them, and her starts have been kind of picking up momentum as we head into this window. Now our team is struggling quite a bit, but I'm just happy that she's out there playing, keeping fit. We have seen Jade Bailey come to squads when she's just returning from injury and look decent. So, you know, I'm kind of anxious to see a Jade Bailey now that's probably going to be a lot more in game readiness and see what she can bring to the table. A player that, you know, you see glimpses of something, but nothing really sustained for the Reggae Girlz as yet. So I want to see what she would look like. Yo, double. Oh, I go on my brother. Take the one left, the what? Creep. All right, so Jade Bailey, that Drew Spence, we know, playing over there in England. But let's just take a look and see how frequently she has been doing so. You know, she has been a part of the bench a few times, but I just want to see how her overall season is looking. So the Women's Super League has a good rating right now. She's up to 7.1 for the season, so that's nice. Probably one of the higher rated players on this Tottenham team. As I said, they lose a lot of games. There it is a 3-love they got recently from Arsenal. But she started 8 games so far in the league, playing playing 81 minutes per game. She has made team of the week twice as well. So definitely doing her thing. Drew is now 32 years of age. She has a goal. So yeah, Drew doing her thing this season, having a good season, only 2 yellow cards as well. As you see on the heat map, she's comfortable playing deeper in midfield, more attacking in midfield as well. So definitely curious to see where the coach envisions her. She did not get a chance to play, surprisingly, against France in that window. So definitely looking forward to seeing her back on the team today. I like Jade. She has the attitude we want, not a jockeying artist, but a tackler. All right. So TikTok approves of Jade's attitude. All right. So you get TikTok stamp of approval, Jade. Fair enough. Okay, you're not talking about TikTok. All right. All right. Drew Spence, Paige Bailey, Gale, and Sade. So let's look at both of those players just to make sure we know what they're up to this season. So Paige, her time at Newcastle was short-lived. She has moved on to Crystal Palace, I believe it is. So, oh no. Oh, she moved to Germany. So she's in the second division over in Germany. I'm sorry there. Crystal Palace is where she used to be prior to, I think that was prior to Newcastle. So this right here is Paige Bailey Gale's season by the numbers. As I said, she moved over to Germany recently in the transfer window. She has played 11 times, only starting twice so far, 1 game in the cup competition and 10 in the league. So far, she has scored 1 goal in that time. And as you can see, a lot of her appearances, like I said, in the league, coming off of the bench so far. But at least she's in the coach's plans. Recently scored a goal as well, which is her first right at the start of the month. So, we'll definitely look to keep tracking and see if she can force her way into that starting lineup over there at Sand in Germany. Let's take a look now at a player that I was surprised didn't get an opportunity to play in the France game. Or if she did, I'm sure it was really, really late. She's on maternity leave. 162 for 7. Boy, dash for the innings. Let's look at Sade. I think Sade is a player that, I don't know. She just wasn't really in the plans of the previous coach, Lauren Donaldson, but I always thought that was not the smartest move. I think she definitely is one that is good enough for this team. She's now in Scotland, in the Premier League over there. I was actually a bit surprised that someone didn't scoop her up in England out of Scotland, because as soon as she got over there to Scotland, she really was ripping it up in terms of goals and assists. So let's see. All right, so this is Sade's season. Let's just look at all the matches so far. As I said, it's been a little longer of a season so far in Scotland. They have played 14, 8 of which she has started. Total, she has 13 in the league and 1 in the League Cup. But this is basically what she's been up to. If you look at the goals, she has 8 goals in those 14 fixtures, so very good returns for her. And also the team has been doing really well. They should be close to the top of that table over there. And you can see a brace. Started out the season on fire, 6 goals in her first 4. The goals have slowed a bit since then. Maybe the league kind of trying their best to stop her when they face this team now. She recently had 2 assists. But yeah, she definitely is one that, in terms of match fitness, goals, maybe one could argue that the level of the league isn't quite where some of our other players are, and it might inflate the numbers a bit. But at the end of the day, you have to go out there and play your opponents, and she's doing so with very good statistics. So you have to give her a credit. So 8 goals in 14 good returns. Also chipping in with some assists as well. 3 assists on the season. So yeah, you must say that she's doing a very good job. You know, if she's fit and available, she's gonna play for our club. So hoping that she can get a chance with some of these first team players and get some valuable minutes in this window to kind of stake her claim. You know, still very young, only 23 years of age, so a lot ahead of her in the game of football. But I think she's on a very, very good path right now. So that is Sade Adamalokin. Then we have Khadija Shah. Really, obviously everybody knows Khadija. No need to really look at her. Kayla McKenna over there with the other club in Madrid, not Real Madrid, but Madrid CCF or CFF, I think it's called. She had moved from La Liga in Spain. But let's just take a look at what she's been up to. I know earlier some people were saying, boy, she needs to convert her chances for the Reggae Girlz more. And I would agree there. But I think that when you look at her body of work as a player, the fact that every season another club picks her up to be their starting striker, you know, or close to it, I think that augurs well for her selections. And, you know, she's just one of those really professional players that you'd want in your team. But this is what she's been up to statistically on the season over there with her new club. They, as I said, they're not the more famous Madrid over there, Madrid CFF, but they she has 9 games played in the league this season so far, and she has 2 goals scored. If you look at the fixtures that she has played as well, how come they're not showing me the goals? I don't know why they're not showing me the details. All right, let me go to a different site. So let's go to SofaScore because they do have the stats on this league. So let's see, Kayla. All right, so Kayla, she's a 6.84, so good stats so far this season. There's the heat map. As you can see, comfortable dropping and getting possession deeper as well. But obviously spends the bulk of her time in the attacking third of her team. 2 goals, as I said, and you know, she's getting about 45 minutes per game. So I guess the key for her moving forward, you know, can you more regularly get into that starting 11, right? Recently, I know she started this game against Ibar and scored. So, you know, coming into this game with a goal in her last outing for her club, definitely something that is good for Jamaica. As you can see, you know, she's been in and out of this starting lineup. You just want to see, can she nail down this spot in this lineup? You know, she has some good competition around her as well. So, you know, we'll have to see. To start the season, she was pretty much starting. Then towards the middle, you know, she started to come off the bench a bit. So, you know, let's see how that plays out for her. Just want to see her getting as many 90 minutes as possible. Davia Richards, in between schools right now, so she's back in Jamaica. Should be some good news coming up for her on the school side of things. I happen to have some information, know a lot about it, but I will not steal the thunder. But good news upcoming for Davia as far as her development overseas is concerned. Jody Brown, another player that maybe folks won't be keeping up with as much because she is not really in a league that Jamaicans maybe can find so easily over there in Portugal, playing with Benfica. But this is what Jody has been up to. Statistically, let me just get this on the screen so you guys can see. She's in the top league over there in Portugal, and this is what she has done as far as minutes played and time and goals and all of these things. So let's look at that really quickly. So completed matches for her. They have played 6. She has started 2, 284 minutes. So, you know, not really playing that much. But the good thing is she does have 2 goals scored on the season so far. Maybe they do have this league over on this page, because normally when it's not there, it's another place. So let me see. Benfica. So they actually don't have that league on here anywhere. So that's a bit weird. Let me see. Jody Brown. Benfica. Yeah, so she has 4 sub appearances and 2 starts, and she subbed off in both of those games. 284 is what I'm getting on this side with the 2 goals. So yeah, not really getting that much info besides just this right here. Can't really see game by game or anything, but that's what Jody's been up to lately. And yeah, they have played. They just fell at the final hurdle to get to the Champions League. She wasn't used in those games against Hammarby, who we see playing Man City right now. And yeah, last time we saw her for Jamaica, just a tough game overall for most of the girls. So wouldn't really expect her to be able to do much in that one offensively. Then we have Shania Hales over there with Newcastle. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, people. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, people. Sorry about that. Jody had back-to-back goals in the 2 games she started. Yeah. I was trying to see if I could get the list of the games actually, but it's not really giving me that option. Which is kind of sad. Trying to get some more details, but it's not really giving me much. So it's saying I have to sign in. So yeah, I will look into that and see what's going on, if I can see that somewhere else. But yeah, Jody. Let's see. Maybe I'll do it this way. Benfica. Feminine. So Jody and Jody. Okay, yeah. So let me show you guys this then. So this is what Jody been up to. So she got the 2 starts. I think this was her first start right at the start of the month in November. She scored in the 25th minute. And then the next game, she also scored again in her next start. So she got 2 starts in a row. Then in this game here, I think she just came off the bench. And then after the window, they go back and they have a game in the league. I'm not sure what the Taca de Portugal. That's probably the cup. Yeah. So maybe in that cup game they'll give her a start. We'll see. But that's what she's up to right now over there in Portugal for Benfica. So if you look at the table, they are leading right now. So that's good. They basically get to the championship qualification again and see if they can make it to the group stage proper next year. But Jody Brown, I think, great move for her. I was a bit worried, it took a little bit longer than I thought for her to find this move, but yeah, it's a good look that she's over there in Portugal, I think. So she can only improve from there. And then the next player that we want to look at is Shania of Newcastle. They couldn't wait for me to talk about Shania. Now, Shania Hales, one of the things that was surprising to me, actually, when I looked up her age, I didn't realize she's only 23 years of age. That's like awesome that we were able to get her in when we did. A lot of times, the players for not for whatever reason, but sometimes they wait it out a little bit more. Shania is definitely she can't be. Is she 23 though? It says she born when she born? She born 90. I don't think this is right. It says she born 99. All right, don't quote me on her age, people. She's either 23 or 25. But Shania Hales, this is what she's been up to. 9 starts on the season. She has 6 goals scored. I know she recently won Player of the Month at the club. Right now, Newcastle is playing in the championship. They just got promoted last year, so they are doing pretty decent in the league. 4 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses. So that's not bad at all for them. And I think Shania definitely can be counted as one of the informed players in our team, currently doing really well for our club. Her most recent goal was on the 3rd of November, and she's really doing pretty well in this league for sure. Wow, so they have the championship actually there. That's good. So up to last season, SofaScore did not track the women's championship in England, but it looks like they are doing better. So this is Shania's statistics for the season in the championship. 9-9, 66 per game. She has 6 goals on the season and 1 assist. Yeah, I think really, really exciting player. I think good pace on her. I think she operates best in a front 3 from the left, but can play through the middle as well. But I think, even the type of profile she has, a 2 up front with Bonnie and her could pay some serious dividends. And even if you don't want to put Bonnie with a striker beside her, I think she functions very comfortably on that left side. If you see the heat map right here, the bulk of her action, she tends to drift towards that left-hand side. So Shania Hales, I think, a player that can definitely do damage in CONCACAF. She just needs to get embedded into the team, get a little bit more familiar with the team. But I like the fact that we're going to get to see her in 2 games where I don't think it will be, Jamaica with possession in the 20s or 30s. We should have somewhat of a more even matchup, which will lend itself to a bit more attacking opportunities and just some chances to see what some of these attackers that we're bringing in really and truly have to offer. So very, very excited to see Shania Hales in these 2 games. Chanel Buckley doing incredibly right now over in junior college at Dayton State. As you heard in the press conference, she will be playing in the junior college national championship coming up. So best of luck to her. But she's having a remarkable season, people. Outrageous numbers. 30 games played, 19 goals and 10 assists. So 29 goal contributions in 30 games. It's no wonder that you heard the coach saying that a lot of Division 1 programs have been reaching out to the JFF and to representatives of Chanel to try to get her in their ranks for the upcoming collegiate season. So hopefully that goes through for her. Junior college is really meant to be a stepping stone. So she has done what she was supposed to do there. And hopefully she can move on now and get going with her career moving forward. I think if she does get into that Division 1 level of competition, it will just make her a better player, much better, strength programs, much higher level of competition to face. So all in all, it will just increase the speed of that development. Muffin. Osh. All right, so the last player on the list that we haven't looked at yet, we're going to close off. I'm going a bit over my time, 2 hours and 30 minutes or so. I want to thank each and everyone that came and dropped a comment, dropped a like, shared the content. Any new subscribers I've gained, we're very thankful for those as well. But Tiffany Cameron, people, this is not where I want to look. I want to look at Sofa because they're going to have it a little bit more detailed. And she's in a recognized league over in La Liga. Feminine for Real Betis. As I said, she re-upped her contract to sign for another season. This year has not started out the greatest for her, though. A lot of spot duty in terms of coming off of the bench. She only plays about 20 minutes per match, total of 130 minutes total so far this season. She has been used pretty much as a striker. If you look at Betis' system, they typically play with 2 strikers up front. Last year for Bolkovic, she was getting one of those roles. They have brought in some new players this season, and she has been relegated to basically the first option at striker off the bench. So, you know, not very prolific so far this year, hasn't scored or assisted as yet. But I do believe that she's in this squad more as a utility player. Might not necessarily see her as an attacking player in this window. So I wouldn't get so caught up on the goal scored. One thing that is, I wouldn't say alarming, but something to note is, you know, how much of a shock to the system is it when Tiffany comes to play for us, because, you know, she's not really getting much opportunity or reps as a defender for her club. So that's just something to watch moving forward. You know, will we continue to look for alternatives at right back? Because right now we're currently using a player that predominantly plays striker for her club at a defensive role, which is not the best to be doing. All right, so let me just close out by looking at the comment section before we close off the show. Muffin, you're saying bye. All right, thank you. Yes, I would say Shania Hales is good. I think she's a player that can definitely add to our talent pool, and one that once she's kind of integrated into the team fully, I think can be pushing on the door for a starting role as well. For the female team, we get them young, absolutely. Shania Hales is a good goal scorer. Yeah, she's very good. Good clinical goal scorer. 1-1 up, she's okay. She's in second tier. Yeah, but I think she definitely has WSL level talent. I think she will be in the WSL not before too long. Owen, true they do. Our men's team is not proactive. Nope. A lot of xenophobia on the male side. There's no solid female league in the island, so they experience less opposition. Yeah, I think the leagues correlate very much to the lack of you know, opposition to recruiting the females, you know. That is true. There is a large gap between second to first. I think that Newcastle, though, as the size club they are, a lot of their off-season acquisitions, I can say they're definitely doing those with an eye of getting promoted, because they have a lot of women's Premier League caliber players in their squad now. She was with Aston Villa but never played much. Yeah, she's WSL level. I mean, she's all the places she's been have been WSL. You know, she's just had some bad luck with some injuries, and I think this is kind of a reset season for her. So, you know, if she continues in this vein, though, she'll be back in the WSL if she doesn't get the club promoted themselves. We said Refatif City. Yeah, man, I missed the damn game. Scoring consistently on call up last window. Surprised she's not listed. Ira Vibes, I'm of the impression that Thomas might be a similar situation to Taylor Hines, where they're just making sure all that paperwork and all those things are finalized and finished and all through before kind of, you know, going back for them again. I think. I didn't ask about her, but I'm of the impression that he would have been impressed by her as well, and what she can bring to the team. So let's see, you know, let's see. Naya Cardoza, I think she's, I don't think she's good enough yet. Personally, I don't think if you're picking, you know, the most qualified best 23 players for a Jamaica Reggae Girlz team, she makes it. Clearly, this is one that has an eye on for the future. She is still in college. She's at Brown in the Ivy League, so she did play D1 football, which, you know, in the States, that's the highest level of women's football basically at that age. So yeah, she's a good player for sure. A lot of potential. I just don't know if that it definitely hasn't been fully fulfilled as yet. So yeah, that's what I think. This is more of a future pick. I think we can do well in upcoming fixtures. I agree. I think South Africa will pose a very big threat. They played England extremely well in the friendly that they played, that the coach said he got a chance to go see. And I will be definitely doing a tactical preview where we talk about both teams and how I think they will play. And I will use that time to kind of enlighten some of the viewers about the South African team and some of their players as well. Yeah, man, tell them to hit the like button. Yeah, she just had injuries all the time, man. She barely played last year, but she was in the WSL and has been there before. Fujino is trash. I had one upset. All right, so let me take you in the end of this game with the rest of you guys, because I haven't obviously had a chance to watch it. Still 2-1 and the game soon done. So we will see how it ends up. All right, people, but thanks again for the support on this video. The Reggae Girls deserve their credit. It stretched out about 3 hours, but honestly, I don't even think I wasted any time. It's been all talking about the girls and the press conference. So, you know, it's a long video, people, but basically take your time in 3 installments, watch it, but you'll get a lot of knowledge about the team, about the girls, what they've been up to. That is mainly, really and truly why I do this content, trying to educate the people. I have a little bit of knowledge as well of the game. Hopefully that comes across when I speak about it, but it's not about me. It's about highlighting the players, the people, holding people that select these teams accountable by keeping in the loop as far as what these players are doing. All right, people. So big up and thanks again for the support. My name is Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. And again, we'll be back tomorrow with some EPL content. We're going to do our weekly preview show where we predict all the games, talk about the latest news, and we pray that Arsenal can finally win. All right, people. So big up on yourself. Thanks again for the support, and we're out. What they under my nose?